Okay, what I have open here is an updated version of 9-ball that I was working on. And so I'm going to take the bumper cap from this. That might be the best version of that I have available. I know it's not scaled right. But it's close. I think it's just a little small. I think this should be like 1/2 inch and 3 inch or so. And then I'm also going to grab a couple other resources that I can steal. Oops. And bring into Seawitch so that I'm not doing everything from scratch. I'm not going to take the bumper base and skirt here. I got better versions of those that I know are accurate. So let's take those over into our Seawitch project. Okay, so welcome back, right? So first thing I'm going to do is dump this in, and we'll just immediately see that this is not scaled correctly. This should be scale 0.55, and that brings us exactly to where we were with 9-ball. So what I want to do first, just to give you an example of why we went through all that trouble to make a new drop target. You can see this is a visual pinball model, and there just isn't one that looks like this. And so for the classic sterns, it was important to model a new one. Oh, look at that. Anyway, so I can get rid of that. Just want to explain myself here. We brought over a spinner, and we'll use that later. And that, we'll use that later too. So those are resources we're going to need. But here, I mean, look, bumper caps are fairly consistent this way. So let's do that and call it right now. I feel, good enough about it. If anybody would like to measure theirs, and let me know, by all means. But until that point, let's just go with this. And then this is not the art we need. But before we do that, let's go get trying to think what I know is the correct scale. This might be. Let's find out. So we're just here to grab bumper parts. And what? No bumper skirts, huh? Disappointing. Oh, I know where they are. Stash those up in the corner. Okay, we're back. And then looking at this, this just looks to me, with the exception of the lattice that's on there, like a much more accurate model for a bumper base. So yeah, look at that. See, this is where you're on the right track. The holes in this line up exactly with where we have the holes in the bumper cap. So, that feels pretty good. Likewise, we can take this and place it. Obviously, everything's going to have to get adjusted, but we'll get it lined up first. And then this, again, you have the right scale when everything fits in the holes correctly. So, look, hooray, like that's all really good stuff. And everything just needs to be rotated then, right? Or does it? I'm just looking at this wrong. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's really good. All right. So that was pretty easy. And so I'm going to go get my art assets for the bumper cap, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with what I think will solve the problem. So you can see here's my reference. We have yellow. It's obviously hot stamped. So let's go get that in place. So we shouldn't need to redo our UV at all. We should be able to just go to our shader. And, you know, like before, we've got those, what did we call that? We have like the mix shader set up here, and we can change the colors. Make a copy of it. Call it bumper cap. All right, now you can move. Go get the alpha, and there it is. It's flipped, but it's there. We'll solve that later. Okay, then we'll go get the bump. And I made this a lot more subtle. But there we go. That looks awesome. I like that. Okay. So our art here, kind of a golden. And our blue, I'm not going to try to dial this in too tightly right now because once everything gets lit, this is subject to change. So it looks like I need to take the scale down just a little bit so we don't clip the skull, since on the actual bumper cap it just goes up to there. Yeah, cool. Okay. So compared to this beat up old thing, you know, we're not doing too bad. All right, and then this thing we just need to rotate. There we go. How about that? Let's take a look at it rendered. So again, we'll adjust color as we go. I'd have to see this lit first, but you know, that's not bad, and we'll do a little better job looking at color references for this too. I don't know that, where is it? This faded old thing is a, you know, perfect example, but we'll keep it in mind. Okay, so there's our bumper cap almost entirely. One thing I want to note, make sure that we take a look at specifically is that, so the actual model for this bumper cap isn't solidified, which, you know, in theory is great because, you know, it saves us half of the vertexes to bring into visual pinball, and, you know, it's uncomplicated, easy to work with. But when you start sending light through this thing, you need to have the correct, you know, depth for the light to look right. So I've added a solidify modifier here in order to make sure that you know, the light is going to look good as we use this. You know, the other thing that I think is important, especially with bumper caps, which have, you know, real sort of complicated geometry inside that determine how the light looks. So, you know, on the flip side of this thing, there's actually kind of a rim that comes down that's missing in this, and that's going to affect the way the light looks. So we're just going to extrude along Z and see if we can not break something. I would say so far that's a gigantic fail, but it's completely possible that cleaning up our mesh, will take care of all of that. So now we have this, and we have that geometry underneath, you know, with a little bit of a goofy exception there, but I could clean all this up and that would go away too. Not so worried about that. We have our bumper. We have our bumper skirt, yellow plastic. It should be a white plastic, and that white plastic should have a little bit of subsurface to it, way less than that, but some, so that light moves through it. Yeah, that'll be better. That's probably still too much, but we'll see. Again, you know, materials we can mess with when we're actually dealing with lighting. But okay, so then, you know, we can take all this and just make instances of these for now.